Hello and welcome to my video. Today we're going over the lineages/races of Tales of the Valiant's Player's Handbook, as there are 8 of them. The 8 lineages will be going over their abilities and just generally what they are. I hope you enjoy! The first race up, or lineage, is the Beast Folks, which is basically humanoid forms with animal characteristics. Beast folk are basically between the civilization and wild, so either they can be humanoid form plus like bird wings or scorpion tail or other features like that. Beast folks also have other features, like they can mature a lot faster, but they can live at their very different ages. Like some can only live to 20 to 30 years, but some live longer. They can be various in size to 4 to 8 feet tall. You have like a pace walking speed of 30 feet, and you have proficiency in perception or survival skills. But I think the most main draw to Beast Folk is their customization, because you can basically have claws as natural weapons, have wings, have agile sharp claws that make you use them as, well, basically climbing speeds or run up with ease. You could either breathe underwater or swim better, or have sturdy, powerful hooves that let you give you AC, or other things. Basically, this gives you a lot of customization if you are a beast folk. But you can only choose one of these, you can't choose multiple at once. Unless you talk to your GM and he allows it. Then go crazy. The next lineage/race in Tales of the Valiant is the dwarf. Dwarves do have some of their own special abilities, and they are basically what you expect of dwarves in fantasy races. The lore of dwarves in Tales of the Valiant are very standard, as I see it. And next up is the dwarves' lineages trait. So you get mature around age 20, but consider themselves mature or young until they reach age 50, and they live up to 100 350 years. They can be size medium, 4 to feet 5 tall. They have a 30 feet walking speed, have dark vision, have advantage against poisoned and resistant to poison damage, and your hit point maximum is increased by 1 every time you gain a level. Basically everything you want if you wanted to play a dwarf. The next lineage/race in Tales of the Valiant is elves. And what you get from elves is basically what you expect. Long-lived people, regarded as the first mortal beings in the world. They boast ancestral ties to magic realms populated by immortal creatures. They're rich in magic and beauty, and have very long lifespans that bring them close to nature and stuff like that. The ability of when you choose a lineage of elf or a race, whatever you prefer, is you live a long time, your size is medium, your speed is 30, you have heightened sense and perception checks on sight and hearing, you have magical ancestry, you have advantage on being charmed, and magic can't put you to sleep, and you can go into a trance. Instead of sleeping, you can basically trance as your long rest and you don't sleep as long. That's elves. The next lineage/race in Tales of the Valiant is human. Humans in Tales of the Valiant are basically what you expect. They're the youngest people to come into existence in the mythos. They have creation myths plentiful and many, and other standard features as human. Like your age, you rarely live over to 100 years old. Your size can be medium or small. Your base speed is walking feet, but you do get one new cool thing. Ambitious. You can gain 1 proficiency in 1 skill of your choice, ignoring your class, background, and everything, and you gain 1 talent of your choice. Talents are basically feats for Tales of the Valiant, if you want a D&D 5e example. Basically, extra abilities you can gain. Moving on from human, the next lineage/race in Tales of the Valiant is a kobold. Kobolds are cunning people with draconic features. They are known well for making traps all over a dungeon and making the parties or PCs, player characters, lives very difficult. Or they can be known as cannon fodder for some other people. Depends on the party. But either way, kobolds can either be great allies or dangerous enemies. If you decide to use a kobold as your lineage/race in Tales of the Valiant, there's a few things you should know. Kobolds usually reach their elder age in 80, but they can rarely live out more than 100. Your size is small, and you can be 3 feet tall, or you can be medium and be something known as a true scale. You have a walking speed of 30 feet, you have a dark vision of 60 feet,
You have Tinker's Protection, so when you're making Tinker's tools and tinkering with traps or other tools things, you add a d8 to your roll. You can either be, when you choose your size, you actually gain an ability, though. When you are fierce and you are small, when you see a larger creature with 5 feet of you attack you, you can use your reaction to make an attack back. Or when you're a true scale or medium size, you gain natural armor for your AC is 13 plus your Dex modifier, and you have resistance to one type of damage: acid, cold, fire, lightning, or poison. And you choose during your character creation, so you can only choose one. And that's all the features you get by being a kobold. The next lineage/race is Orc. Orcs in Tales of the Valiant are resilient people who are known to have a unnatural urge for exploration and discovery. When orcs appear on a world, they're usually sudden and forceful. There can be nothing in the sight for orcs for many, many, many generations. And all of a sudden, and like very, very quickly, orcs can just appear and have empires and kingdoms. They have an extreme survivability because they can even be found in desecrated desert temples located within frozen lakes or tunnels, only to make a full recovery in days. If you decide to choose an orc as your race/lineage in Tales of the Valiant, here are the hereditary traits you get. First, you reach adulthood within 2 decades and seldom live longer than 60 years. However, you retain your prime for most of your life, undergoing few physical changes or signs of aging between adulthood and the end of their natural lifespan. Your size range is medium. You can stand between 6 and 8 feet tall, and you can weigh up to 110 to 350 pounds. Your walking speed is 30 feet, and you have heightened senses to give you advantage on perception checks that rely on sight and hearing. You can see through lightly obscured areas normally and can see areas of dim light as if there were bright light. The next feature you gain as an orc is Orcish Perseverance. This ability is pretty cool. When you would die to suffocating or gaining levels of exhaustion, you instead enter a death-like state where you can't do anything until you've recovered from by normal healing or magical healing. But you're in basically stasis for that time, and you're protected from decay for a limited amount of time, or your body is completely destroyed. So yeah, pretty cool feature. The last feature you would gain as an orc is Stalwart. When you are subjected to an effect that would require you to make a save at the end of your turn, you can instead choose to make that save at the start of your turn. And that's all you gain as an orc. Next up on the lineage/races of Tales of the Valiant, in which it basically covers 2 different races, halfling and gnomes, in which these races are called smallfolk. They are diminutive humanoids who can rely on community and cleverness to survive in a world of big threats. It's basically a generalization of, like, halfling and gnomes call all the big races big folk. Either gnomes live in underground and halflings live above the ground. They basically fit into most communities if they decide to adventure. Here's what you gain if you choose a smallfolk lineage/race. Smallfolk typically reach adulthood at age 20 and typically live to be 150 years old, though gnomes sometimes live twice as long. Your size is small, you're 3 feet tall, and weigh 40 pounds, and your walking speed is 30 feet. You also gain the ability Grounded. Once per day, when you fail a save, you can re-roll the dice and use a new roll. Regardless of your new roll's result, you generate 1 luck because you already failed the save. You also get Small Stature. You can move through any space of any creature that is medium or larger size. You can also attempt to hide when you are obscured by the size of the other creature, medium or larger. And last but not least, the ability you gain from the small folk, Natural Adaptation. Natural Adaptation is where you choose between gnomish and halfling and determine which one you're going to be, because they both have different abilities. Gnomish, your ancestry made their homes underground or in dark woodlands, providing you dark vision at a range of 60 feet. In addition, you get a minor illusion cantrip, and you can choose Intelligence, Wisdom, or Charisma as your spellcasting modifier. If you choose halfling, your ancestors give you advantage on saves against being charmed and frightened. And that's the abilities you get as small folk. Next up is something I'm going to mispronounce multiple times in this video. Sydereans. I hope I got that right, but I probably didn't. They are mythical beings inspired by creatures or powers from different planes of existence. They are sometimes called plane touch because their mythical powers have shaped them into how they are.
Sydereans, even if they're born from an immortal being such as a god, an angel, or a devil, they are free to make their own choices. They're not bound by anything, and they're bound to their own destiny. So they're free to embrace, reject, or ignore their cosmic struggles of their mortal kin. When you decide to play a Siderian, you usually get these following lineage traits. Your age, you reach adulthood at age 20, on average, live until 150 years old. Your size is medium, you stand between 5 and 7 feet tall, and your average is 160 pounds, and your walking speed is 30 feet. You get farsight, you have dark vision out of range of 60 feet, and can see in magical darkness up to a range of 30 feet. You also have otherworldly form. You have resistance to necrotic and damage, and the amount of time you can survive without air, food, water, or sleep is double the typical amount. And finally, the last feature is natural adaptation. You inherit one of the following unique traits determined by the what formed you: celestial or fiendish. If you choose celestial, you get blessed guise. Once per long rest, you can give yourself for 1 minute a wings to fly up to your walking speed and turn all your damage you deal with weapons or attacks into radiant damage. If you chose fiendish, you get dreadful guise. Once per long rest, you can use your bonus action to assume otherworldly guise for 1 minute. While this transformation is active, creatures that come within 10 feet of you for the first time on that turn must start their turn and must make its charisma saving throw, DC equals 10 plus your proficiency bonus, or they become frightened of you until your next turn. Once a creature succeeds at the save, they can't be affected by this feature again for 24 hours. While transformed, once during each of your turns, you can deal damage with an attack or spell. You can choose to convert the damage type or types to necrotic or fire damage, your choice. And that's a Suderian. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe if you did. I'll catch you all later.